Welcome back guys, today I am doing this bronzed makeup look. I'm starting with this S19 Super FX body gloss. Not only is this going to give me a bit of a tan to my skin, it's also going to give me a super duper beautiful bronze glow, and what I love about this is it just washes off at the end of the day. They do this for skin tones as well, think of it as makeup for your body, so if you wanted a foundation for your body they also do that in all different skin tones. I've opted for the bronze because it is the festive season. This makeup is perfect for Christmas or New Year. I'm adding a little bit of sparkle to make it extra special. Don't forget, if you are going slightly darker with this, which I have done, don't forget to do your hands as well. It does add a bit of a nice glow, but it also makes them look nice and tan so you completely match. Look at how it picks up the light, it's so beautiful. I just need to match my face. So I'm going to start off by priming just through the centre because I am slightly oily and I want to diminish the appearance of pores. I'm using the MAC Studio Fix Mattifine 12 Hour Shine Control before going in with this Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. This will be a little bit more yellow than the bronzy tone we've got on the chest, but don't worry too much because it will all come together once we bronze the skin at the very end. The shade I'm using today is Golden Beige. The application tool I'm going to use today is a damp beauty blender. First off, I'm dispersing the foundation over the skin in loads of little dots, and then this way the sponge won't absorb the majority of the foundation. The reason I've chosen this foundation is because it is extremely affordable. It gives the most airbrushed finish to the skin, and it is the closest drugstore foundation I've found to the Armani Luminous Silk. For my eyebrows today, I'm using my West Barn Co. The Brow Pen in the shade Roots, and I'm just going to very softly flick that through for a very natural finish. I'm not going to show you the full process because I do have dedicated tutorials on this method, and then I'm going to set that in place with the Benefit 24 Hour Clear Brow Setter. This one is my absolute favourite because it really does hold your hairs in place until you remove it. This week I'm going to use the Natasha Denona Glam Palette, and I absolutely love this. It's full of cool and neutral tones. Using my Zoeva 228 Luxe Crease Brush, I'm taking the shade Crease, which is a light taupe, and I'm running that exactly where it says, into the crease of the eye. What I like about this palette is if you are a beginner or you kind of need some ideas on how to use your palette, it basically tells you where that particular eyeshadow should sit. I'm just taking the shade Transition, which is a very light taupe, and I'm running that over the seam of the eyeshadow as it meets the eyebrow bone. Going back to the eyeshadow palette, I'm taking the shade Smoke, which is a medium brown tone, and it also has a slight olive undertone to it, again giving off that slight cool finish, which I really love. And on my E36 blending brush by Sigma, I'm placing that on the outer third of the mobile lid and then blending it out into the crease. But as you can see, I'm not taking it higher than the shade Crease, which is in the socket. I'm taking a second layer of that same shade and then just running it through the crease all the way towards the inner corner of the eye. The majority of that placement is still on the outer third. This second layer is just a light pass to help smoke out the socket area. Next, I'm taking the shade Outer Eyelid, and the placement for this is on the outer third of the mobile lid, exactly where it's designed to have been placed. It's a beautiful browny bronze shade with a pearly sheen to it, and it does have a very subtle warm undertone to it, but the overall finish is not one that's completely warm, it's definitely more neutral. Next, I'm taking the shade Inner Corner, and this is a beautiful pinky peach champagne-y tone. It's extremely shiny, and this is going on the inner corner of the eye and feathering that across to the centre of the lid. I've chosen to use my fingers because it does have more of a metallic finish, and I find that they go on better with your fingers than they do a brush. It also prevents any fall down. I'm taking a damp detailer brush and I'm using the same colour on the inner corner of the eyes. The reason for using a damp brush is because it makes the colour more intense. Reapplying the shade Outer Eyelid just through the centre to make sure the blend between the two shades in the very centre is seamless. And then just going back in with my E36 brush to blend through the socket. I'm now going to work on the lower eyelid, so I'm taking the shade Crease, which is the first colour we started with, and running this underneath my lower eyelashes from the outer corner towards the inner corner and making sure we connect that with the outer corner of the top lid so it's nice and framed. And then going in with another matte eyeshadow called Lash Line. We are taking this on a very tiny brush and running that between the root of my eyelashes, and that's creating a nice gradient from a blackened brown down into that kind of taupe shade. This will create a nice gradient from the eyeliner that we'll be applying shortly. I'm taking the shade Centre Eyelid and using my finger and placing that directly on the centre of the lid because it has a slightly rosy hue which will tie in with the Swarovski crystals that we're going to be applying. I'm taking the Bobbi Brown gel eyeliner in the shade Sepia Ink. I've used this for as long as I've been doing YouTube. It's one of my favourite colours. It's a lovely flattering brown. As you can see, I'm running that along the waterline. I'm going to blink onto the brush to tightline the eye, and I'm also going to smudge it along the top lash line. We're not doing a wing. With all that being said, if you have quite small eyes, you can omit the eyeliner completely. For me, it's essential if you want to create a smoky eye, but again, everything is completely optional. Here I'm just running a little bit of the shade Lash Line over the top just to soften it and smoke it out further. If you are looking for a cruelty-free and vegan-friendly mascara that is lengthening and very similar to the Bad Girl Bang by Benefit, then you might love this new LH Cosmetics Infinity Power Mascara. The reason I say it's similar to Bad Girl Bang is because it is super duper black and the wand is extremely similar. These are some of my favourite eyelashes ever. These are lash base from the Natural collection. They're the LB01s and apparently you guys love them too from one of my other tutorials. So if you want to try them with a discount, whether you're in the UK or the US, you can use my discount code. It is Shonagh LB10 and I'm going to link it in the description bar. I believe for the US it's lowercase and for the UK it's uppercase, but I'll link it exactly how it's written in the description bar. They also do the Pro Effect lashes, which are some of my favourite. They're really similar to Lashify, but they are so much more comfortable and they do them in a variety of styles and they're extremely affordable, unlike Lashify. And again, you can use my discount code, so I'll link it all below for you. Now I'm just going in with that same mascara on my lower eyelashes. As you can see, it really is lengthening. It just makes your eyelashes look super duper long and fluttery, and it is beautiful. It doesn't smudge, it doesn't flake. For concealer today, I'm using the AU Instant Under Eye Concealer. This is one of my favourites for a very natural finish. It doesn't enhance fine lines and wrinkles. If you're looking for extreme coverage, this is not going to be for you, but it does give a beautiful natural coverage. You'll see it doesn't completely hide my melasma, that I would use something a bit more heavy duty, such as the Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. But in terms of just brightening under the eye and just diminishing the appearance of maybe like darkness, this is perfect. The brush I'm using is a concealer brush by Zoeva. It's quite big and fluffy and it's perfect for working this underneath the eyes. And then I'm just pressing over the top to make sure there's no brush marks. You know I've been loving this, I use it in most tutorials. This is the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow Highlighter and I'm putting that on the skin with my finger and then just bouncing over it with my damp beauty blender. The majority of this is going on the cheekbone, but I'm also placing a small amount on the brow bone and then what's left on the sponge above my eyebrows. Because I'm going for a bronzy, glowy finish to the skin, I decided I wanted to use the Nude Sticks Terracotta Tan for bronzer and blush. I don't want to use a blush tone. I want to keep everything very bronzy and cool toned. And even though this is a nudies matte, I still feel like it gives a natural dewy finish to the skin. And because we do have the elevated glow in the right areas, this is beautiful. As you can see, I'm using my sponge to apply it, so I'm swiping it directly onto the terracotta tan and then bouncing that over the areas that I want to bronze. I'm being a little bit more liberal in the areas that I would contour, such as the cheekbone, but again, because this is going to be bronze and blush, we want it to be visible. However, to make sure it is seamless, turn your beauty blend around to the area that you had foundation on and then bounce over the top, and this will just soften it. If you are new to my channel, you may not know, I have a 20% discount code for Nude Sticks. It is an affiliate link. It doesn't cost you anything. It just means I get a little kickback for recommending it. I only recommend products that I absolutely love. If you go back through my old videos, you'll see nothing but Nude Sticks. I love them. So now we've got the bronze, we've got the glow, we just want to diminish a little bit of the shine in the areas that we do not want it. So that is going to be through the centre of the face so that the glow looks intentional rather than we looking a little bit oily. One of my favourite products for that is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Powder. Because it has rose wax in it, it gives this beautiful mattified finish that completely and utterly blurs pores. Here I'm just adding a little bit of the Kevyn Aucoin contour powder down the sides of my nose. And then I'm going to move on to a little bit more highlight, which is so unlike me, but I love this one by Charlotte Tilbury. It comes in a palette that's actually been discontinued. However, all of our highlights are basically the same. They are divine. They are like butter on the skin. So I will link one below for you. So it's just time for a little dance before I move on to my favourite part, which is applying the crystals. I've chosen an AB flip. I want it to have that kind of iridescent vibe, and it really is super pingy. So I'm taking some duo glue and applying that in just some kind of like strategic places around the eye. You can go above the brow, you can make it a lot more intense. I wanted something that was sort of semi-subtle but still visible. I actually went to see Frozen the musical last week and I wore the exact same makeup. If you can't wear crystals to Frozen, where can you wear them? So this little tool picks up crystals so easily. It makes your life really, really simple. Make sure they're all facing upright and they will almost jump onto the end of the tool. So you can just place them directly over the glue. You don't even have to wait for your glue to dry. Just apply a very small amount and just go straight in with your crystals and they'll stay in place all night. I used a mix of SS4 and SS6, but you can use a whole range, you know. They look beautiful if you even go up to SS12, which is a lot bigger, but they still look small on the face. They just look a lot bigger this close up, but from a distance they're quite tiny. So you can see why I wanted to add a little bit of the rosy tone, even though it's super, super subtle, on the very centre of the lid, because this hue on the crystals gives off a bit of a pinky tone. To finish off the look, I'm going to do my lips. I'm lining them with the MAC Strip Down Lip Liner. This is a classic. Haven't pulled it out of the bag for a while, but I thought we've got a neutral eye, so we'll just do something from maybe 2016. For the lipstick, I'm going to pull out one of mine from my kit, and I'm going to use the shade Peach Stock. Yes, I am pulling out Peach Stock. It's an oldie but a goodie, and this kind of like nude finish looks lovely, but you can't beat a little bit of Clear Water Lip Gloss by MAC. If you're going to have a ping from the crystals, then you need a ping on the lips. And that completes today's party makeup tutorial for the festive season. I hope you've enjoyed it. All the products I've used will be listed and linked in the description bar. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new to my channel and come follow me outside of YouTube. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again next week. Bye guys.